All right, so let's go ahead and look at a word problem and use substitution to go ahead and solve the word problem, okay? So I have a total of 75 cookies and cakes were donated for a bake sale to raise money for the basketball team. There were 4 times as many cookies donated as cakes. I'm going to write a system of equation to represent this situation. So the very first thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to assign variables. My 2 things that I'm talking about in this problem are cookies and cakes. All right, so I'm going to assign variables. I'm going to assign X to cookies and Y to cakes. Okay, so now that I've assigned variables, okay, to these, all right, okay, so I've assigned these cookies and cakes and variables to them, okay, X cookies, Y cakes. Now I'm going to write those systems of equations. So the first thing I notice is I have a total of 75. So what that basically is telling me, it's telling me, hey, if I take X, which is cookies, and I add it to Y, my total is going to be 75. So that's my first equation. Okay, so X plus Y is 75 because it says a total of 75 cookies and cakes were donated. Okay, the other part of the equation I have to go to is right here. There were 4 times as many cookies donated as cakes. All right, so because there were 4 times as many cookies donated as cakes, basically what that's telling me is I need to take Y times 4, or 4Y, 4 times Y to get this number of cookies, because cookies was 4 times larger. So as a result, I would have to take 4 times the number of cakes to get the amount of cookies. Okay, so now I have my 2 systems of equations. So now I'm going to go ahead and substitute. I have this one that says X is equal to something. So I'm going to substitute X in, or I'm going to substitute in place of X for this equation. I'm going to put a 4Y. So I'm going to use X plus Y. I'm going to replace X with 4Y because it tells me X is equal to 4Y. So I'm going to go 4Y. Again, that was substituted. Plus Y equals 75. Now I just go ahead and solve my equation. 4Y plus Y is 5Y. I combine like terms on the same side. 5Y is equal to 75. My next step is I'm going to divide by 5 when solving my equation. I get Y equals 15. Okay, so it tells me that the number of cakes is 15. Okay, so to find the number of cookies, I can use either one of these equations and plug in 15 for Y. So I can either plug in 15 here, or I can plug in 15 for this one. If I plug in 15 for this one, I would have 4 times 15 equals X. If I plugged in 15 on this one, I would have X plus 15 equals 75. Okay, my choice, I can use whichever one I want. I'm going to do this one. 4 times 15 is equal to 60. And 60 is equal to X. Notice up here, I would get the same thing. I would get 60 is equal to X. So this tells me that there are 60 cookies for the bake sale, and there were 15 cakes. That makes sense. There were a total of 75. The cookies is 4 times larger than the number of cakes, so everything checks out, and that's the solution to my problem. Okay? So go ahead and look at another one. Okay. My other problem is about muffins and quarts of milk. Okay. It says the cost of 8 muffins and 2 quarts of milk is $18. The cost of 3 muffins and 1 quart of milk is $7.50. How much does 1 muffin and 1 quart of milk cost? All right. So again, I have to assign variables to this one. I'm going to assign X and Y variables. Right. The 2 things that are mentioned in this problem are muffins and quarts. So I'm going to talk about muffins. I'm going to assign that to X. Quarts of milk, I'm going to assign that to Y. All right. Now I'm going to write my 2 equations. So in the first part here, it says the cost of 8 muffins and 2 quarts of milk is $18. So basically what that means is if I have 8 of these, so another way to get 8 muffins is I could add X 8 times, or I might just do the repeated, instead of doing repeated addition, I might just take 8 times X. So that's where I got this. 8 muffins, 8 times X, and so I'm going to do plus, okay, 2 quarts of milk. Well, instead of writing Y plus Y plus y twice, I'm just going to write 2y because that's repeated addition. All right, so now I have 8x plus 2y. What does that give me? It gives me $18. So there's my first equation. Now I'm going to go ahead and write my other equation. So the cost of 3 muffins, which is 3x, so that's 3x, plus 1 quart of milk, which is y, will equal $7.50. Okay, so now I have my two equations. However, my issue is, unlike the previous problem where I had a variable equal to something, I don't have a variable equal to something in this problem. So what I need to do is I need to change one of them so that a variable is equal to something. So I'm going to change this one right here because I see that this y is by right here. There's no coefficient with it. So as a result, I'm going to try to get that y by itself. So I'm going to take that equation, 3x plus 7y, or 3x plus y equals $7.50. And I'm going to get y by itself. I'm going to get y by itself by subtracting 3x to both sides of the equation. When I do that, I get y equals $7.50 minus 3x. Okay. Now that I know what y is equal to, I can substitute it in for this equation. So I'm going to rewrite that equation, 8x plus 2. In place of y, I'm going to write what y is equal to, which is $7.50 minus 3x. So I substituted all of this in for y because I'm replacing y is equal to $18. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is distributive property. I'm going to distribute the 2 into the 750 and the 3x. So I'm going to end up with 8x plus 2 times 750 is $15. Minus, because the minus right here, and I got a positive 2 times a 3x will give me 6x. So now I have 8x plus $15 minus 6x equals 18. I'm going to combine like terms. The like terms are 8x and minus 6x. So when I combine those, I'm going to put them next to each other so that way I can combine them. 8x minus 6x gives me 2x. So I have 2x plus $15 equals $18. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to get x by itself. So I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. I get 2x equals $3. I'm going to divide by 2 because I'm going to try to get x by itself. So I get x is equal to $1.50. Okay. So now that I know what x is equal to, all right, which is the price of the muffin, so I know that one muffin costs $1.50, I'm going to put it into one of the two equations that I started with, all right? I'm going to choose to use this one right here because it has a little bit smaller numbers, so as a result, I think it might be a little bit easier. So I'm going to copy down 3x plus y equals $7.50. In the place of x, I'm going to put $1.50, so 3, and then I'm going to put $1.50 here, 3 times $1.50, plus y equals $7.50. Notice I still do not know what y is equal to, but I will. 3 times $1.50 is $4.50, plus y equals $7.50. Now I'm trying to solve for y, so I subtract $4.50 from both sides. When I do that, I get y equals $3. So I find out that the quart of milk costs $3. One muffin costs $1.50. So now we know that our single costs are, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Good luck.